I'm continuing the Space Command Convention, and I wanted to put a spotlight on all of our wonderfully talented people. And of course, you came to the front of the list because you're such a phenomenal artist. And so now you're in Mexico. Where are you now? Are you in Mexico?
I'm in Mexico, yes, I'm in a small place called Jalapa that's by Veracruz, like 4.5 hours away from Mexico
Wow.
City.
Wow. So basically, Tahani, I don't know if you've had a chance to see Ripple Effect yet, but of course your artwork is in that episode as an animatic. It's one of the scenes that really plays great, along with the audio play, and you've been illustrating the graphic novel. So why don't you give us a little bit of a bit of background about your where you're from and your childhood and all of that, and how you got involved in art to begin with.
Well, I started to draw about 7 years ago. And then when I met you, I had never before even thought I was going to be doing a comic or graphic novel. So it was like really mind blowing. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't. But you had just such a grand vision about what is possible. And so it was like so inspiring, and so I just started to learn on the way. Whilst I was going, I got a book of how to make comics, and I was looking on the internet just how to make comics, and I just started about a year ago, or about no less than a year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, about a year ago, I think.
yes. And now it's funny because now you now where did you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm half and half. I'm half Mexican, so I've grown up all my life in Mexico. But my father is English, so I was born in England. I spent like about 7.5 years in England, and then we came to Mexico. My mum is Mexican, and I grew up most of my life in Jalapa, in this small little place in the middle of nowhere.
Wow. And I remember how we met. We met at the World Science Fiction Convention in San
Yeah.
Jose. And do you want to tell that story of how we first met and got
Yeah,
involved in this?
it was so funny. I this was my first convention in the US. I was really nervous, and I don't really speak English that much either. So I was feeling even more nervous because everything's in English. So I just walked around with this portfolio I had made, but I was really shy to go up to anybody and show them my work. So I just sat down, I think, and I was like, oh, I wasn't sure. And then I saw you, and I saw your. Did I see your stand? Or was
Yes,
before
yeah,
that?
that's
Was
right.
it
No,
before that?
no, you saw the Space Command booth. Yeah.
I saw it, and I saw this booth that was just amazing, really, really nice. And I came up to you and just like, what do you think of? I think I showed you my work, and I wasn't even sure. And you were just so nice, and you gave me such good advice after that. And I've been following that all through all my other conventions in English.
Yes. Well, the great part was you showed me your portfolio, and I saw that you were incredibly talented, and you were very nervous because you were thinking, well, what's it like to approach a book editor to ask for a cover?
Yeah.
I remember I said to you, don't be nervous. The book editors are very friendly, as opposed to people in Hollywood. They're
Yeah.
welcoming, and that gave you the courage to approach them and start talking to them. But then I started thinking about hiring you to do the comic book because I knew I was going to be doing that, and your work was so impressive. So that's when I said, have you ever thought about doing a comic book? And your work is spectacular. So it's very fun, and it's very fun because for the cover artists, we've used Ian McCaig and William Stout, who are
Yeah.
both very legendary and very hugely talented people. But they're both very impressed by your work.
It was just so mind blowing and such an honor when I got to know I was going to be working with Ian McKay, and it was just like, oh my gosh, and they've seen my work. So all of this experience has been just otherworldly, and learning how to do graphic novels and having you as a director has been really you're such a good director. It's been very simple, and also that you give me so much liberty, creative liberty.
Yes.
Is that how you say it? Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
yes. Well, I trust I trust my people. I trust you know
Yeah,
I don't want to micromanage, and I don't want to restrict your creativity. If I love what you're doing, then it's just okay. Do more of this, you know, and because your instincts are very very strong and your abilities are very very strong, and so. But the fun part, of course, is that we're doing that story both as a graphic novel and an
yeah.
audio play, and then we're marrying them together into an animatic. And so what's that experience been like?
I haven't seen it. I would because where I'm living right now, I just moved a few months ago into the middle of the mountains of Mexico, so I've got no internet. I have to come. I have to come into Starbucks
Huh,
so I can get enough internet because at home I've got like below zero. I'm going to be getting internet next week. I hope
good.
so. It's going to be good. So I'm going to be able to see everything and download everything because I have to travel
Yes.
about an hour from the mountains right down to the city. Here, this is the only place, and it was closed for a while. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do?
That's
So I
fun.
haven't seen it yet, but one of the things that was really, really amazing for me was when I was drawing the characters, I would see their faces once again and again in different angles, and I got to know their faces so well. But for me, they were illustrations, and then I got to see them on the TV or on the series, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know her face so well. So and every time I see like a new character I've been drawing, I'm like fascinated that I know the face so well, all the angles and all the
Yes.
expressions.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's fun. It's fun to watch the pages develop because this is the prequel story, and so we see how the characters come to be the people they are in the show, and it's been really really fun. And again, this is the first comic book that I've ever written, and
Wow.
so it's a new experience for me as well. But it's just thrilling. And now let's talk for a moment about how you work as an artist. So for instance, when you start to draw the comic, or do you work by hand at first, or how to just walk us through your process from beginning to end of like doing a page of the comic?
On my normal drawing, I do it all by hand. But because I've been doing this comic book and I've been traveling around the world, I wanted to keep it in the same consistency. And
Yeah.
also, I'm working for Wacom, so I've been doing it all digitally. So I'm learning to draw digital at the same time as learning how to do comics.
Mhm.
So it was all so much for me that I decided to only do it in one way. So what I do, I read through the scripts that you send me, and then I get like an image in my head, and I try to imagine it like if it was a movie. So what kind of angle would the movie focus on? If it's important, and if the scene is very important, it has to be like a live scene.
Mhm.
And if it's just like a lot of action going on, it must be like smaller things, like in a movie. So that's kind of I've been watching a lot of movies to kind of like visualize also the up angle, the down angle,
Yes.
try to make it a little bit more dynamic.
Yes.
That's how I first get the ideas, and then anatomy. I get myself or anybody that's around me to pose and straighten the weird and take pictures of them, so I
Hmm.
get the anatomy right.
Yes, that's great. That's great.
And then just really drawing. All the rest is filling in colors. I really like drawing the TV futuristic certainty. It was really hard. So I really enjoyed that, like pushing myself more and more, and all this experience for me has been. I've been learning so much. Now I see comic artists and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. When before I didn't really understand like all the work that went into it. And the
Yes.
sequences, I really enjoy like reading sequences and understanding like how one panel goes into another. So I've been learning just so much out of all this. It's been amazing.
Well, that's great. No, we've really been thrilled working with you. It's been great fun, and you know, I look forward to more and more adventures. You know, with working with you. And, you know, because with Space Command, we're doing so much in terms of, you know, TV and books and comics and all of it. You know, it's really fun. And so in terms of oh, well, another question I had is, now, have you had training as an artist, or are you self-taught? What's your background in terms of your art?
Uh, I'm self-taught.
Oh,
I'm 100% self-taught. I've always
wow.
wanted a mentor. I've always really wanted like some kind of like person that knows the industry and knows like oil painting.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I look up on YouTube and I'm like, how does that work? And I try to copy like great artists, and that's how I get my that's how I've learned really.
Wow.
But and I did do art in school, but I was in design. I studied design, so yeah, I kind of like learned some there,
Mhm.
but it wasn't really the same. It was more commercial, and all the rest has just been me pushing myself more and more. I use a lot of references also,
Mhm.
and I like to try new things. Like I just mix everything in together in the image and see what works.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's how I that's kind of how it works.
Well, that's great. And again, I'll talk to Ian McCaig and see if he would be open to advising you, because Ian, of course, spectacular. You know, he's an
Oh my
amazing
god, that would be so cool.
craftsman. He loves your artwork as well. You know, so it's you know, that I'll call him and talk to him about that. And so, but so, I mean, I just love the work you've been doing. It's been super fun, and it's fun to see you uh, you know, dealing with these actors. That, I mean, they, because you have, you know, you're very good with catching their look, you know, and drawing them, you know, effectively, you know. And so it's
I'm
really
happy
fun.
you like them.
Oh,
Sometimes I'm
sure.
like, I want to get this actor in this angle and with this expression. I just can't find them on the internet, so I just have to like find somebody that looks similar, or get myself to like make the expression and translate one face to another. And
Yeah.
at first it was really hard. I was like, how can I do this? But now I'm kind of like understanding it a bit more, and I'm doing it just a bit easier.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, it has been very challenging.
Yes. But that's well, and we can talk further about that, because sometimes if you're looking for a certain expression, you can uh, call the actor and just have them, you know, do the expression you need. You know, that's another possibility, because, you know, I mean, they're thrilled at
Yeah.
doing. You know, that's, I mean, the fun part is work. I love working in these different media. I love working in audio and graphic novel and television and all of these. You know, it uses so many art skills and art design and costuming and all of these things. You know, and so it's really fun. And I love that you put in little homages, like for instance your homage to Blade Runner 2049. I thought that was really fun in your drawing of Manhattan, when you have the wide angle, that Blade Runner image was really fun.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like the homages of movies that I like, and
Yes,
I really like sci-fi.
yes.
So also in some other ones that I think you haven't posted yet of the CI based it on Fifth Element and
Yes.
Moebius. So I
Uh,
got like obsessed with Moebius for
yeah,
like I'm right now obsessed with him.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, I really like to learn more about my own work, but through other people. So I just buy all their books, and I'm looking like how does this artist resolve this thing? So
Uh-huh.
I've got like a lot around me, and then I mix it all up and I try to make my own thing,
That's
but
great.
using them like as examples.
Hmm. But
Yeah.
it's really fun, and I love the detail in your work, because you know you have so much detail and such variety from image to image. You know, and so I love that. The quality of the work is terrific.
I can't believe how I finished those 8 pages in like 20. days,
Yes.
22 days, I was sure I wasn't going to be able to. And I was working like minimum 12 hours, like flat. And I wasn't doing anything else but working. And I was like, maybe I'm not going to finish it. I have to, even if I don't sleep like on the end, I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
And I try not to put too much detail in because I know it's going to take more, but it just ends up by being really full of stuff. It's really hard for me for not to make it very detailed. Even if
Yeah.
I try, I end up just like saying, no, just an hour more, just an hour more. And I end up like doing like 6 hours more just in small little things.
That's great. That's great. So, so it sounds like you've been having a good time with Space Command. So,
Oh yeah, I've been learning just so much of it, and we're only like not even halfway through, are we? So there's
mhm,
like so much more to. And one thing I think is when you put all the graphic novel, all the stories side by side, from the first story to the last story, you're going to see like a whole advance of how I didn't know anything about comics at first, and how I
mhm,
started to like understand more and more and more through all the pages.
that's fun. That's great.
I
So,
think that might happen.
so moving forward in your career, Tahani, so what's your dream? What would you love to have happen moving forward in your career?
Well, right now I'm in Mexico, but I'm going to California again in a few months.
Mhm,
I'm going to be living in Mexico and the US,
mhm,
and what I want to, what I'm doing right now is getting my work out more in the US and more international because I got to be kind of known here in Mexico, but what I'd like is just a full career in
yes,
art and illustration
great.
and get my work out really and um, work in something that I really like and that I'm passionate about.
Yes,
And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm started, so I think you're at like 10 years. So I've still got another 4 to 5 years to carry on pushing more and more.
yes.
And that's, yeah, just work.
Well,
That's what I like
great.
doing.
Well,
Create,
there's certainly a lot of
creating world.
there's certainly a lot of things we can do together moving forward. There's many things ahead. So, and I love the work you've been doing for us. I mean, it's just gorgeous, and so I'm very grateful that we met the way we did, and that it's proven such a good collaboration. So,
Yeah, me too.
now when are you coming to California? When do you think you'll be coming? Do you know?
In September,
September.
I'm gonna have my birthday in September, so I've already been here in Mexico for I think maybe 4 months. So I'm
Mhm.
going to go back there maybe another 4 months, and then I'll be like coming. Let's see what happens with the coronavirus thing because I'm
Yeah,
not sure. I'm not sure
yeah,
I'm going to be able to go back
yeah.
right now, but I think so because they're kind of like opening up everything. I've got my
Yeah.
face mask here if somebody comes.
Of course, of course. Well, this is great. Well, I want to thank you for talking to us now. It's great to hear about your process and about your passion and enthusiasm. I mean, it really comes across on the page, the fact that you put so much love and effort into the work. It really shows. And
Yeah, I really enjoy doing it. I could feel like forever drawing. I really like it. And learning. I really enjoy to learn more and more. And I feel that USA has got like a whole new thing coming up. I don't know how to say it in English. Un panorama, a whole new panorama.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm learning so much of fantasy and sci-fi that in Mexico it's not so there's not so much fantasy and sci-fi
No,
going on. And what I'd like is to bring more Mexican voices into the sci-fi and fantasy, but not just in Mexico, but worldwide. And
yeah.
that's the thing that I'm very passionate about.
That's well, there's a lot of great adventures ahead, and a lot more fun to be had. So I'm really glad you're part of our team, and I look forward to. I mean, every time you send me a page of your work, you know, it's like Christmas. You know, it's like, wow, look at this. This is so.
I'm like this. I'm like, oh, I can.
No, I love it. I love it, I just love your work. And so, well, great. So, well, thanks for being part of this. I'm so glad our fans got to meet you via this little chat,
Me
and
too.
we'll talk again really soon. And I'll send you stuff that you can watch. Yeah, and when you have the internet, you'll be able to see the
Okay.
new episode and all of that, and it'll be really
Yes, that
fun.
would be so cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Well, thanks for everything, Tahani, and we'll talk again really soon.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Care.
Hello, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Mwah.